You want to take a blank YouTube ad account and turn it into a lead machine in a matter of days? Well, tune in because I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in just a few seconds. Okay, so before we dive in head first, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single trick when it comes to crushing your YouTube ads, and click the little bell if you want to get notified every time that I post a new video. Awesome value on YouTube advertising, YouTube marketing, and viral video marketing coming to you all the time. Okay, so let's jump into it. How do you get results with YouTube advertising? What it comes down to us is a simple process of testing. When you can test and optimize effectively, you will win. So testing comes down to 4 major components in YouTube ads, okay? So the first is placements. The second is keywords. The third is audiences, and the fourth is creative. What you want to do is make sure to test all of these things at the beginning or in stages to get the best results. Once you take a look at your conversion numbers and your soft stats and how everything is rolling. Every single account is going to have completely different results, so it's super important to make sure that you test all of these things in sequence, because when you test, you can see what's working, what's not, turn it on, turn it off, turn it up, whatever you need to do. Okay, so let's start with placements. What is a placement? A placement is basically just a YouTube video. That's a fancy name for a YouTube video. So when you're choosing placements, it's what Google calls them in the YouTube backend, in the Google Ads backend, it calls it a placement. You get the opportunity to actually choose which YouTube videos you want to put your ad in front of. Super, super powerful. You can get results super fast doing it this way. It's not as scalable as some of the other methods, but it is really, really effective because the relevance factor is huge, right? So to get started with this, you would use some sort of tool that scrapes YouTube data. Like I use TubeSift. You could also use VRoll, and there's some others where you can actually put in keywords and then build placement lists off of them of relevant videos. You want to make sure that you click monetize videos. You can only put your ad in front of monetized videos, right? So the reason that placements work so well is because of, as I said, the relevance factor. You can be so incredibly relevant. So let's say, for example, you're doing an online course on how to play piano. I mean, imagine the thousands of YouTube videos that you can get in front of that have to do with specific skills and tutorials on how to play the piano. You can get directly in front of those videos. Imagine that opportunity if you position yourself as an expert. So somebody goes to click a video on how to play a certain piano chord, and then your ad shows up with basically a similar offer from a much more reputable source than, Joe Schmo on YouTube who posted this video and happens to be surfacing for that keyword. What an amazing opportunity that you have in that moment. That's why placements have a tendency to work so well. The next thing you want to test is keywords. So a keyword on YouTube is a little bit different. It's a bit of a mix between an actual search term for what you would type into YouTube and a video topic. So it's kind of like a mix between those things. It's a very broad keyword, and that's what YouTube uses. It uses these broad keywords. But you can still do research on it. So if you get something like TubeSift has some of this built in. I also highly recommend TubeBuddy. It's one of my favorite tools. A lot of people in the YouTube advertising world don't think about it because it's mostly an organic tool. It's this sort of Google Chrome companion, but it does do great keyword research. So it can tell you when you put in a keyword into that dashboard, it can tell you what the competition is, what the search volume is of that keyword, and you can get a sense if it's something that you would like to get behind. On YouTube, you really want to make sure that you choose highly relevant keywords and just test them. Turn off the ones that aren't working and turn on the ones that are. Next is audiences, and this is a cool one because it's your opportunity to really leverage Google's big data. Obviously, we know that YouTube is owned by Google, so you get all the information that Google tracks about people all over the world right in your pocket inside these audiences. So there are a lot of different types of audiences, demographic audiences, life event audiences, etc. One of the coolest ones is in-market audiences. So let's say that you were selling TVs. You were going to do an ad for selling TVs. Google actually has an in-market audience for people that are in the market for a television right now. So based on their search history, Google knows that they want to buy a TV right now. Can you imagine a more relevant audience to get in front of? It's amazing. It's freaking awesome to be in front of that audience. So if you have a product like that, and it's for services too, not just e-commerce products, you can get right in front of those people and be super, super relevant. But there are a lot of others too, as well as affinity audiences, and then there's custom versions of it. So custom affinity audiences. An affinity audience, by the way, is an audience that you might use. It's kind of like an interest targeting. If you're familiar with Facebook ads, it's interest targeting. It's things that people like, that they're into. And you actually can leverage those audiences. And again, you have to test all of this stuff against each other. But you can build custom affinity audiences based on specific URLs that people actually go to, which could be really powerful. And then you can create custom intent audiences based on keywords. So this is almost like a custom in-market audience. So it's looking for people that are in the market for products and services based on a list of 50 or so keywords that you put inside this audience. So you really get to leverage Google's big data here. It's a great opportunity. Always got to test it. I would recommend testing it after you test keywords and placements, but it's a great opportunity. And the last is creative. You got to test your creative. So obviously you need to be hooking people right from the beginning because they're just going to skip the ad. Now some people you want to skip the ad. If they're not going to be a qualified avatar, you want them to skip because we don't pay for people that skip ads before the 30-second mark. Cool thing about YouTube, right? But you also want to make sure that the people that do get past the 30-second mark are qualified. So this hook that you get people in with at the beginning should really qualify pain points and the avatar. Like, who are you going after? Who's the target customer? What's the target market? Hooks that right off the bat. And sometimes you don't know exactly what's going to resonate with people. So the best thing to do is test a few creatives and then roll with the one that works the best. The good thing about YouTube is you don't end up ratcheting your frequency all that high, which means the amount of times that people will actually see the ad. So once you can actually drill down on one creative that's really working for you, you should be good on that for a while. You don't have to mix it up as often as you might on other platforms because it's generally a new audience that's coming into these videos very frequently. Okay, so now I want to take you right inside this and show you how it works inside Google Ads Manager. So let's go right over my shoulder and I'll show you how this works. So you can see here that I'm testing keywords in one campaign and placements in another campaign for the same offer. This is typically how I will start every time that I am starting a campaign from scratch. I'll test keywords against placements, doing all the stuff that I just told you about. So how do you actually set these up, right? And of course, audiences will also go in later. I usually test those third and then move into custom affinity, custom intent audiences. However, it really depends on the offer. But let's just start here with how I set up campaigns to get you to this point where you're testing keywords and placements. So we'll go to adding a new campaign. And I want to bid on CPV at the beginning, which is cost per view. The only way to do that is to click this, create a campaign without a goals guidance. Okay. Video, obviously, because it's a YouTube campaign. Custom video campaign. Okay, now I'll put in a campaign name. I actually like this little trick for people in this video. Usually based on the funnel stage, so if I'm going to a cold audience, I put a blue emoji in there. So for my remarketing, for example, I may have a red there. Or if it's middle of funnel, maybe an orange. I always do this. I like it. Helps me organize things in the feed. Maximum CPV is my bid strategy. I'm bidding on cost per view. Now this does mean that I'm not leveraging Google's AI, but I'm doing that on purpose because until Google gets enough pixel data, I can't really do that very effectively. I'm going to get the data for it and optimize it manually. Switch this from campaign total to daily. You can start with $10 a day budget to test. Absolutely. Leave this all the same. You don't want to pick accelerated here. I typically turn off search results and display network. Just don't know what you're going to get there. really we just want to go for YouTube videos here. This is where we want to be advertising. In stream are the videos that go before. It's pre-roll basically, and video discovery ads appear on related content. I do like to gate this to, if for example I'm running a U.S. based business, I'd like to gate it to English or UK or whatever it is. If I was in India or something else and I want to make sure that I'm talking to people in a very specific language, then I would put that in there. You want to make sure you can get specific because again, Google is going to feed budget wherever you tell it to. So you want to be specific. Choose your country here. Standard inventories is fine, generally. You could even go expanded inventory if you want. Up to you. You can read the descriptions here and make the decision for yourself. Excluded content, show on all is fine. You don't want to exclude too many things. You can also, if you wanted to drill down on device settings, let's say you were going to a very large country, you might want to segment this out a little bit based on devices. I also tend to not deal with TV screens, and I do start with tablets from time to time, but I always end them turning it off. So these days I've been starting with tablets not selected, just letting this go to computers and mobile phones. TV screens are awful for click-through rates. I mean, you will see less than 0.10%. So you really don't want to get involved in that. Frequency capping, you can do this if you want. I usually don't. It really depends on your offer, and it depends on your goals, and really depends on how many placements you have on there, etc., etc. Yeah, have it run all day. And you want to make your ad group name. So this is where you'll put placements, let's say. If you want to split up your placements into a couple of different categories, you could split them up into different ad groups. Usually at the beginning I put them all into one. But you might say here, piano placements. Who's your target audience, right? I mean, if you're never going to sell to 18 to 24-year-olds down your funnel, exclude them, Same thing with female, male, unknown. I tend to keep unknowns on and at least test them, but you never know. I mean, if someone's not logged in and they're watching YouTube, they'll go in this unknown category, and you don't want to miss an opportunity to advertise to those people. So I leave unknowns on. But these are also very good in the US, so if you're a US-based advertiser, you can use these household income numbers. Audiences is where we'll actually select audiences. So for this first one, we're looking at placements. So we don't want to select any audiences, and we don't want to select any topics, just placements. So this is where you'll go into, we use TubeSift. You might want to go into your placement list that you have here, for example, and you might grab the URLs, and then you just copy and paste the URLs into here and click on add. This is just a demo, so I'm not going to go for that. CPV bid, you're usually pretty good at about 7, 8 cents, 9 cents. Sometimes I'll start at 10 cents to make sure it feeds. But B2B will be a little bit higher sometimes. So you want to get a number in there around 7 to 10 cents, see how the average CPVs come in, and then take it down as needed. And then you'll put in your YouTube video here, and you'll set up your ad as needed. But the point is here just to show you how this all works. So that's how you set up your placement campaign. Then when you want to go and create your keyword campaign, you can just duplicate it, go to edit copy, and then edit paste. Okay, so let's pretend this is a duplicate here. And then you would go in, let's say this is the duplicate of the placements, and I want to make this keywords. You say edit copy, edit paste, so that you just bring the ad over. You don't have to recreate the ad or anything like that. You rename the ad group into keywords, right? Again, just a dummy campaign. And then you would go in to placements and delete all the placements by clicking this and then say select all and then go edit, remove. Delete all the placements out. So now it's an empty campaign basically with no targeting. So very quickly you want to get in and add keywords, which you've taken notes somewhere where you have the keywords in there that you want to hit because you've done your keyword research, and then you can just go in, you select your ad group, and then you can just literally just enter your keywords in here. and then click Save. And then at the end of it, you'll have 2 campaigns that look something like this. Keywords, placements, you just label them correctly, and then start taking a look at all the numbers. This is an inactive account right now that I'm in here just to show you, but this is basically how it works. So you have keywords, you have placements, and then as you go on, if you wanted to test audiences, you do the same thing. You'd copy and paste the campaign, rename the campaign audiences, rename the ad group audiences, delete all the keywords or the placements out, depending on which one of these you duplicated, and then go in and then add the audiences. Now, I'll show you how to add audiences really quickly. You'd go to Audiences, select an ad group, keywords, and then you can choose it here. So, how to play the piano. You do have an in-market audience for musical instruments and accessories. I don't know if that would be relevant enough. You want to be super relevant. For example, this is how you would add it, and you could just click Save. And that's it. That's how you set it up within the ad account to set up your testing in a way that works. And if you've got $10 per those campaigns with that 7 to 10% CPV, you should start seeing within a few days the impressions are going to start coming in, and then you can go and look at the individual keywords and see what's working, look at the individual placements and see what's working, turn off the stuff that's not, and turn up the stuff that is. That's basically how it works. And you can optimize and scale from there. I'll get to that in another video. So that's how you do it. That's how you set up a campaign in YouTube ads to do this testing process that I'm talking about with placements, keywords, audiences, and your creative. Sometimes at the same time, sometimes in stages, but the point is to test. That's how you get YouTube advertising results. That is 100% how you test it. You've got to do this, and it will put you on that fast track. Okay, so if you tried any of these, I would love to know. If you've tried any of these and you haven't had success, or you have had success, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to engage with you and see how I can help. Please let me know. And make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you never miss a beat when it comes to YouTube ads. We've got all sorts of great stuff on the channel showing you how to leverage video marketing and YouTube specifically for your business. So subscribe, hit the bell, watch another video, and we'll talk to you soon.